Yay, it says that I am live. Woo! Okay, cool. Hopefully, you guys are having a wonderful day. It is a bright and sunny day here at Mount Shasta, and it's very springy, unlike last week where it was very cold and winter like. So, hopefully, you guys had a great week. Last week, we were talking a little bit about the flat earth drama and some of the stuff that was going on after the final experiment. And there's some pretty decent videos out there bringing up some really good points about the flat earth experiment, the final experiment, which is the flat earth experiment, whatever. And talking about how like the sun in the sky kind of changes shapes. Some of the shadows are questionable, how long they are, how much they're changing a short amount of time. When someone comes out and they're talking and there's no you can't see that it's cold in the air, right? When you're out in the cold, you can visibly see people's breath. There's extended periods of time where there is not any breaths, and then someone goes off the camera and comes back. And I've seen a lot of people smoking vape pens, and that's exactly what it looks like. They pretended that there was, coldness in the, in the air or whatever, by taking a hit of a vape pen and then blowing it out on TV. So it's just kind of interesting to see all of these different points being brought up. And, if any of this stuff is real, then you don't need to fake it, whether it's the globe or the stuff in Antarctica. And ultimately, the stuff in Antarctica doesn't prove or disprove the shape of the Earth, because the only thing that would disprove the shape of the Earth and say that it's a ball is if we find curvature somewhere, and there is none. People want to try to claim that it's bigger than, it's just that we're really small and Earth is really big. Yet NASA and all these other models that were given, 24,901 miles in circumference, all of the math, works out to where, it's a perfectly prepackaged web of lies where all of these numbers work out, but they don't actually apply to real life in the real world. So to try to say that, the Earth is just bigger, it just doesn't make sense. So yes. Hey, Jane, how's it going? Hopefully you are doing well. Sean Patrick says, hi, Queen. Hey, how's it going? Tom Tom says, yay, I made it live. Hey, Tom Tom, I hope you're doing well. And hanging on tight down under, right? Because if you're living on the underside of a giant spinning ball, you better be grateful that you don't take a fall. The whole idea of gravity and being on this ball is really not even intelligent design. If you're given two options and you think of it logically of what model, I know that flat earth doesn't have a working model, but if you think of the two options, whether it's this giant spinning ball earth or an enclosed realm where earth is the center stage and all these lights are moving around it, one of those screams intelligent design and a creator, and the other is just really stupid, actually, when you think about these people living upside down in relation to each other. Just the chaos, the spinning, the chance that some meteor might come out, all of these things, it's just not intelligent design. And ultimately, it goes into the godless belief system, right? If it's a chance big bang that brought everything into existence, evolution, then there's no God, there's no afterlife, all of those implications, and the belief system that the powers that be want us to have. They don't want us to know that there's a God for multiple reasons, but also they don't want us to know our own divinity and our own power and the things that we're capable of. They want us, as soon as we come out of the womb, to be injected and poisoned and deliberately dumbed down in the educational system, which I call the uneducational system. And there's evidence that's readily available public information that, the educational system was created to make useful idiot slaves, to just, be trained to hear the bell, and everything that you're going to experience in a factory. That was what they designed the educational system off of. It's not made to make you smarter. It's not designed to help you, get ahead in any way, shape, or form. Ultimately, it's for the system to deliberately dumb us down. And, it's really exciting that we are living in this time where we're waking up to all of these things and we get to question it. And ultimately, we get to decide what the future of our world is going to be. I don't know about you, but I am really pushing for the golden age in this world where humans are built up, where we have all of these systems in place to help us flourish and become the best versions of ourselves possible, to tap into those, meditation and the energy that we have as, ultimately witches. We're all witches. Our thoughts, our words, our emotions, all of these things have power and feeling. And most people are asleep at the wheel, but we were taught how to spell from a young age. And we're constantly casting spells, whether it's a good thing, whether we're saying, I am powerful, I am strong, all of these positive things, or, other things that the world tries to tell us, like having negative self worth and all of these other things that, I'm guilty of myself. And yeah, so we're all casting spells, and, it'll be exciting to see what humans are capable of when we're not being crushed down, when we can breathe fresh air that's not being chemically sprayed, that doesn't have all of the death and blood and violence and all of the waste and everything that comes along with the animal agriculture industry. Like that evil is in the air. So yeah. Sean Patrick says that you were holding your own in the Jaren chat room the other day. He is a huge hypocrite in my book, calling himself Mr. Honesty. Yeah, that's funny. I usually don't get on other people's live streams, but I felt like kind of jumping on there and basically calling him out, because there's no way that you can spend a decade just demolishing the globe and putting out like all of this content, hours and hours and hours and hours of footage, and you just can't like flip back to the globe after that. You might start going into like hollow earth or other things like that, which actually the true hollow earth doesn't contradict the flat earth. Underneath our stage, the earth is like thousands of miles thick, so there's a ton of stuff underneath of us. It's common knowledge, especially around here, that under Mount Shasta there's a city called Telos, and more physically, there's a actual underground subway that travels thousands of miles per hour to all these different places on Earth. So the idea of hollow Earth and things being inside of the Earth doesn't contradict flat Earth at all, when it's understood in the right context. So obviously, the idea of water spinning the opposite way on the inside of a ball is just as dumb as water spinning on the outside of the ball. Water doesn't curve. So yeah, I should say large bodies of water don't curve, because someone's going to say, oh, haven't you ever seen one little droplet of rain or dew on a blade of flower in the morning? It's like, that fill up your bathtub and then let's talk, right? Even your bathtub, there's no curvature on that. So it doesn't even have to be a large body of water. It's just these, yeah, okay. Tom says, hi to Sean. Glad you guys could all make it today. From the light of darkness, how's it going? Says hello. Margaret Walter says, hello, it's me again, Margaret. How are you? Hopefully you guys are enjoying nice weather, because this, springtime is really nice. Time of year. And actually, speaking of springtime, I scheduled the Shasta Vegan Easter celebration for April 19th at 2 p.m. Hopefully it's going to be nice enough that we can be outside. I'm not really sure what the event is going to be yet, or activity, but at least we're going to have some delicious treats and celebrate life. It's really frustrating, especially for me, being a baby lover. I know that Ishtar is this fertility goddess, the idea of taking this holiday that should be celebrating life and the excitement of new baby birds and baby sheep and baby cows and all of these babies and the earth coming to life, these beautiful flowers and everything just coming to bloom. And then that's taken and turned into something evil where we're stealing eggs from birds so that we can paint them. Like, why are you guys painting bird droppings in the first place? Once you understand that what an egg actually is, like, that is disgusting. Don't touch these things, right? And that's not to say that babies are gross, but I'm just saying, like, you shouldn't be going around like touching disgusting things, whether it's dead animals or waste of any sort. Like, just don't, just, I don't, people should just be more conscious about what they're handling and stuff. So not only the eggs, but sacrificing lamb and sheep. Well, same thing, but I just thought about Passover because there's a really cool quote from Christ. Passover was the time that I actually went vegan 8 years ago, maybe. That's when I found the vegan Christ, which is another thing that I wanted to talk about today. But let me pull up this verse really quick. I probably posted it like last Passover. That's not what I want. Sorry about that. Let me just check the live chat while I'm trying to find this picture. From the light of the darkness says, this is actually very Luciferian in your philosophy here. I love it. As far as Lucifer goes, there's a great article on the Nazarene Way called Lucifer, Satan, or Goddess. And Lucifer was originally a nickname for Venus when she rises before the sun bearing the light. And so it's interesting how this purifier female deity has now been turned into a corrupting male deity. And the inversion and all the other demonization, whether it's demonizing Christ and saying that he ate fish and corrupted other people by promoting, this sacrifice. Well, I'm not sure that they actually, I guess I was going to say, I'm not really sure that they credit Christ with the crucifixion teachings. It's mainly just Paul, actually. So anyways, even just turning him into this bloody sacrifice and changing his teachings, his real message, saying that no one can die for the sins of another, into the religion that we have now. And Baphomet being this occult symbol for Sophia, who's all physical matter. She's the male, she's the female, she's the animals, she's the humans, she's the rocks, she's the trees, she's all physical matter. So this symbol was used by occultists to depict her. And now it's turned into this, this picture of Satan. It's evil associated with, baby sacrifice and inverting children and all of those evils. So it's just another case of also, taking Sophia, who is this powerful force against Satan, and making her evil and also sacrificing animals and stuff to her when she doesn't want that. So sweet. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm going to just pull up the Passover thing before we get too far off on the subject, and then I won't remember. Someone's celebrating upstairs. As most of you already probably know, this is the place that I do a lot of my vegan events, and it's a community shared space. So it's pretty cool that I can come in here and do my live streams. It's where I've been hosting karaoke nights. They want to turn it into a church in the future, potentially a vegan church, which would be really awesome. Okay. As far as Christ on the Passover, this is from the Essene Humane Gospel of Christ, and it says, "For ye behold this day of the Jews, before the pagan Passover ritual, whereby they sacrifice the innocent creatures of God and eat the flesh of dead animals. Such ones are blind and see not the holy things of God, for truth is not in them. I tell you truly, better for such ones never to have come in the world at all. Wow. That's a hard thing to, I don't know. I'm really wanting to be proud of myself and my soul and what I did on this earth when I die. And obviously, we've all made mistakes. And when we're asleep, we make even more mistakes. But for, especially at the end of your days, if your creator is like, wow, it would have been actually better for creation, for the world, if you hadn't gone in there. Ouch. So hopefully, that resonates with other people and they start thinking about their actions, because so many people are just on autopilot doing whatever the matrix has programmed them to do. And yeah, then we have this world that we're in now where darkness is thriving because we're not doing anything against it. Margaret says, learning chess strategy. You the queen. Aw, that's awesome. I have been slacking on my chess games lately. I definitely need to get back into that, but I've been focusing more on the veganism thing and a lot of music as well. So yeah, I would love to be able to put out some of my own recorded music relatively soon. So fingers crossed. Sean says that that's like when carnivores say, what about the gophers and the insects that are killed when plowing a field? Like, that's a relevant comparison. Well, yeah, so there's multiple things, right? You're pointing at gophers and insects that are killed while plowing a field as if you don't eat those plowed field products, as if the animals that you eat don't eat them. And as if that's, since a tractor ran over a gopher when it was plowing a field, we can kidnap, rape, and murder cows. We can keep them in these cages. We could, that doesn't even make any sense. It's basically this, if this side's not perfect, I'm not even going to try to do anything different. And yeah, exactly. Good point, John. Colin says, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon to you. Tom says, I don't even see your posts, just short. I'll have to look. Oh, you just thought. I don't really post much on Facebook these days. I mainly just comment on other people's stuff. But yeah, I've been, Facebook is kind of discouraging too, because not only are you shadow banned, but I don't know. It just feels like we're just all in these little realms and not reaching new people. So it's frustrating. And then they ban you for the dumbest thing and everything. So Tom says, oh wait, you already read that. Sean says, it hurts my head to think of lambs, chickens, and the other animals' fates. Yeah. It's, once you start to empathize and really connect with them, it's like it becomes a lot harder to live and exist around other people that are being so flippant about it or even making jokes. And yeah, it's frustrating. But I'm also really thankful for the vegan community, not only online, but the people that I've met in real life. I was telling you guys last week that up in Talent, they have a monthly vegan dinner club, which is really cool. The next one's going to be like this Irish themed one right before St. Patrick's Day. So I'm super excited about that. I'll have to take some better pictures this time and show you guys what it's like. Oh no, it looks like my screen might be glitching a little bit. Give me a second. It's pretty hot in here. I got the heat cranked in here. Okay. Colin says Lucifer is Jesus, star of Bethlehem. Well, Christ definitely is a light bearer. Ultimately, Lucifer, light bearer, can be a title, just like Christ, right? So there have been many light bearers in his and her history. What comes to mind is in Buddhism, they talk about these souls called bodhisattvas that basically I don't agree with everything in Buddhism. I don't agree that this experience is only about enlightenment. I think there's other elements to this world that our souls, like, it gives us something to do. And there's just more of a bigger picture that I don't believe that they have. But bodhisattvas are these these entities that basically put off staying in the higher realms to come here and to teach and to help others come towards the light, towards enlightenment, and all of these great things. So I definitely consider myself that. But it kind of ties into the Lucifer light bearer nickname, right? So cool. Sean says, I'm curious to learn what a vegan Christ is. So, hey, Mark, how's it going? Mark says, hi, Anana, doing a few things at once. Hope you're having a great day. Long live the truth seekers. Awesome. Yeah, thanks. I got to chat a little bit with Mark through email about the Flat Earth drama and get some more information about that. So that was really cool to have an inside scoop and yeah, to hear some of the drama, which we can circle back to after we talk about the vegan Christ. So Sean, I was studying Passover a few years back because I was a Torah follower. Like, my mindset was, if I'm going to claim to be like Christ, I need to do what Christ did. And if he was a Jew, he was a Torah follower, I need to follow the Torah as well. So I was navigating those waters, and Passover came. And so I was researching. It says, in the Bible, to do it forever and ever. This ritual, getting a lamb, all of the stuff, forever and ever doesn't mean till someone comes later and stops it, right? So technically, if you're living by the Torah, you should still be sacrificing animals for this ritual. Thankfully, I found the Gospel of the Holy 12. God led me to this, and it just changed my life. Basically, the Christ is very adamant about, let me actually see. I'm not sure if it's in this book or this. Let me pull it up on my phone because it'll be faster. Okay. It says, for this end I have come into the world, that I may put away all blood offerings and the eating of the flesh of beasts and the birds that are slain by men. In the beginning, God gave to all the fruits of the trees and the seeds and the herbs for food. But those who loved themselves more than God or their fellows corrupted their ways and brought diseases into their bodies and filled the earth with lust and violence. Not by shedding innocent blood, therefore, but by living a righteous life shall you find the peace of God. And that actually is in the Gospel of the Holy 12. And their lection 33 goes into more detail about, how offering blood of birds and beasts actually makes you more guilty. It doesn't purge how can the conscience be purged from sin by the shedding of innocent blood? It will increase the condemnation. And then he kind of goes into saying that when God brought the people out of Egypt, he didn't command blood sacrifices. He actually said, obey my voice, and you'll be my people, and all will be well with you. And over time, the priesthood was infiltrated, and they actually imposed animal sacrifices on the people. There's a great documentary. I think you can watch it for free now on Christspiracy.com. I think that's their website. It's called Christspiracy. And it goes into a lot of detail about this topic. They don't really mention the Essenes as much as I would have liked them to, but they talk about how integral the fact that the word for like money was directly tied to the animal agriculture industry, like sacrificing animals. And you look at today's society and how it's integrated in the government bailouts, and it's all together. And the powers that be want the animal sacrifices, the animal slavery, the animal mistreatment to continue, because they know that karma is real and they can come in and do to us what we do to the animals. Why are we working 9 to 5s? Why do we have to be taxed? All of these things that we don't like, that we're crushed down and our freedom is limited. There's almost always a direct connection with what we're doing to the animals to that. And even with like sicknesses, there's a direct connection with they say like osteoporosis. Oh, cow's milk is good for that. Well, when you actually find out that's the opposite and you look into it more, it makes sense that mama cow, all of her bones are getting leached of all of the nutrients constantly because she's making so much more milk than is natural, that is necessary for her baby. And then, then you develop that exact disease in yourself as well. And that's just one of the many like direct connections that is there. So, yeah, you can actually read the Gospel of the Holy 12 for free online, thenazareneway.com. I don't know if it's .com or .org. Way.com. That's not it. It must be org. I could put the link also in the chat for you guys as well. Maybe. Okay. Here we go. Sometimes the website randomly like goes down, and thankfully it comes back up, but it's kind of sad because they not only have the free Gospel of the Holy 12, they have that Lucifer article that I mentioned earlier, and then also tons of just different information about early Christianity and their beliefs, and how the different communions that they did with angels. There was like a morning and a night communion every day that they would purposefully set aside time to bond with these different angels that correspond with the different elements. Obviously, mainstream Christianity would label me a heretic for what I already said. But acknowledging that like nature and different elements are actually alive and they're part of God's creation, the angels, it's just such a more magical reality than what we're told. So yeah. Hey, Nicholas, how's it going? It has been a while. Hopefully you're doing well. Nicholas says, and I honestly believe Zelensky to be a hero and standing for the right cause. What's your opinion on this? I don't believe that anyone in the limelight is a hero. I think that it's kind of funny to see what like the last recent meeting with Trump, and I don't know, it's just so obviously like scripted drama. None of it comes off as real anymore. Obviously, there are real issues that are going on that need to be addressed, but ultimately, the powers that be in every country are working together for their New World Order plan. And they're going to give us fake heroes on every side. But ultimately, the wars and the destruction of the economies and all this stuff is moving towards their one world government, one world order, all that stuff. I don't know the like specific ins and outs of what Zelensky is promoting. Like, I'm not going to say that I know all the details, but anytime that I have ever seen any of the political people, they're all actors. And like, there's some really silly, like Zelensky's already discredited themselves with some of their other like, weren't they like pretending to play the piano with like, I think it's a girl anyways, but they were like pretending like they didn't have any underwear on and just being vulgar and like also dancing around in like some tight clothes. Like, I don't know, just anyways. Sean says that you can't compare that to billions of animals that are slaughtered every year, month, in reference to talking about when animals get ran over in the fields. And also, there's a big difference between an intentional killing and an unintentional killing. If you deliberately go to slice that cow's throat, you did that. If you're driving a tractor and you're just bopping along and you accidentally run over a squirrel, that was an accident, right? Your intention wasn't to do that. So intent is definitely a big factor as well. Hey, Mike the Mechanic, how's it going? Looking beautiful as usual. Aw, thanks. Last night I went to a local bar. They had karaoke and they have some pool tables, so it was really fun. And this lady came up and she just like looks me over and like goes, I like, this is just great, or something to that extent. But it was just really funny that happened, and that just reminded me of that. So Anyways, Sean says, who are your musical influences? I grew up, well, first as in a Christian home, so it was a lot of Christian music. And I still like, I don't know, when I was little, I wanted to like grow up to be a praise and worship leader, like a famous singer that's not just, a worldly whatever, but that has a purpose, a spiritual thing that's kind of uplifting, and praising our Creator. So that was my first musical influences, was praise and worship leaders and all of that. But I also, once I started listening to more secular music, I liked a lot of emo bands, and yeah, acoustic stuff. I don't really, I wouldn't name drop anybody just because I think that all of my musical influences have been inverted, because I didn't, we don't know anything about these Hollywood people and who they truly are. And once you wake up to what they are, it's like, yeah, it's hard too though, because you have binding magic to them. Anytime that you're going and listen to their music, you're watching their TV, there's a bond that forms between you, just like if you guys were friends, right? If you're going out and hanging out all the time, there's a bond that forms between you. And yeah, it's kind of hard to try to sever those bonds and navigate how to cut off that influence from these entities that really aren't good. So yeah, anyways. Mike the Mechanic says, can you post where I can find that scripture reading? On the NazareneWay.com that I just posted in there, that has the Gospel of the Holy 12 for free. And I mean, there's other sources online as well. And then the other thing that I quoted was the Essene Humane Gospel of Christ. And I don't think that one's on there. Let me just, Essene Humane Gospel of Christ. Okay, I'll post this into the comment section as well. So when I eventually assemble my own Bible someday, I'm going to have the Gospel of the Holy 12, the Essene Humane Gospel of Christ. The Essene Gospel of Peace, book 1, is really awesome. It starts out with talking about Sophia and how powerful she is against Satan. And really it is this cool reconnection with the maternal side, especially coming from a patriarchal religion. There isn't a balance where, the true Trinity is the Father, the Mother, and their child. Whatever you are, male or female, we are that child between them, and we get to be in this really cool Trinity with them if we choose to, which can unlock so many different powers like that Christ used. And he said we could do even greater things than he did. So yeah, when you open up the Essene Gospel Peace book 1, it basically is like, no matter what, if you've turned away from your mother, if you turn towards her, she'll embrace you. If you stop sinning and do return to her, the way that she wants us to eat, the way that she wants us to act, if we return to nature and how we're supposed to be acting, all of these demons are going to be, they're going to run away from us. We're going to be healed from our ailments. And just, I don't know, it's really cool to have that connection with the feminine divine, our mom. That's really lacking from most of the world's religions. It's like you either have the patriarchal side where there's like no feminine divine, or she's a demon or whatever, or you have the witches usually on the other side where they're very focused on the feminine and, the masculine. The patriarchy is the one that has burned all the witches and set up the kidnap, rape, and murder system that we going on. So there's this animosity created deliberately to keep us in one camp or the other, when in reality, the real, mother and father they're together. They're not opposed or at odds with one another. They're working together on this. So Tom says, oh yeah, we will be flying soon enough. Tom really wants those flying cars. Hey, my tech guy, how's it going? Christspiracy really helps solidify the choice for me to go vegan. I've actually also been meaning to sit down again and rewatch it because I was hosting during the showing. And so I was like constantly trying to make sure that people had their food and that, there's like kids running around and just, yeah. So it was, the parts that I saw were really, really great though. Mike the Mechanic says, from what I've heard, Zelensky is an actor, actually. Was involved in a movie where he fakes being president. Interesting. That would be really funny, actually. There's so many times that they've foreshadowed different things and, put the truth in plain sight, and then they mock us for not being smart enough to get it. So, oh, Tom Tom. Okay, Tom Tom means us flying. Yeah, well, they do say that Inanna's the flying goddess, and technically, I mean, even if you talk to people that have been raw vegan for quite some time, a high fruit diet, I've heard them say, I had to eat like some vegetables I felt like I was going to float out of my body. Like there's already this uplifting energy that you get, that you're not being bogged down, especially like all of these lower energy centers that we're so grounded in here, whether it's, surviving, food, procreation, all of these other things kind of keep us down here and bogged down. But there's other ways that can be uplifting. And even, that's not to say, well, yeah, anyways, we'll not touch that. Hey, the Israelite, how's it going? The Israelite says, afternoon, people. Hopefully you're doing well. I was hoping that David D was going to be here because I wanted to read his recent post about the Mandela effect. So I might put a pin in the Mandela effect thing and come back to talk about it when he can be here I wanted to read his post. So yeah, but the Mandela effect is an interesting thing to look into. We'll just keep short for now, but some of the ones that I personally remember, like the Berenstain Bears, I grew up watching that. I specifically remember going to my cousin's house and we would all just be like sitting on the floor watching the Berenstain Bears. It was never the Berenstain Bears. Like, I don't know where the stain thing came into play, right? But the reality is that our reality can be modified. And that's what they have done. It's basically a magic spell, and multiple different reasons, but getting us to like think that we're going crazy to, oh, I remember this, but now everything is this way. It's just an interesting thing to look into. There's the Snow White thing where is it mirror mirror on the wall or is it magic mirror on the wall? There's the scene in Star Wars, they're like, no, Luke, I am your father, or whatever. But yeah, it's just, we live in a very magical reality, and that goes to show how, I mean, that's a really powerful spell to be able to like have a physical copy of the Berenstain Bears, and then like you go back to it and the actual letters on the book have been changed. Yeah. But it's really cool to know that we live in that kind of reality, because we can have those same kinds of powers to change the world for good and create a world that we're all thriving in, and the animals are free, that we're free. It's just picture fruit growing everywhere, all these food sources that are free. Everyone's just frolicking around, having a good time and enjoying life and painting and exploring and building and making babies and hiking Mount Shasta, and I don't have anything else to say besides we're making babies. So the Israelite says, in the humane gospel of Christ, it says perfectly on page 91, for who are the Israel of God? Even they of every nation and tribe who work righteousness, love mercy, and keep my commandments. These are the true Israel of God. Hear, O Israel, the eternal all, thy God is one. Many are my overseers and my prophets. In me all live and move and have substance. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And I definitely agree. The people of God are the ones that do his will. I've said it before. When Moses brought the people out into the wilderness, it wasn't just one bloodline of people. It wasn't just one group. It was whoever wanted to go left, and God basically said, obey my voice and you'll be my people, do my will, and you're in. And it's that simple. So it's kind of crazy how they've been able to manipulate this situation and caught my phone and basically create this whole religion and movement where there's one chosen people of God, and it's, racist, and it's just caused so much division, when in reality, it's all of us who do God's will. So, hey Raven, how's it going? Hey Anana, Snow, how's it going? Still zero chem sky since 222. Oh, that's awesome. Um, it doesn't look like there's any chemtrails out the window that I'm looking at, but my view is pretty limited. And I know that they have been spraying. It's pretty lucky that you are not being sprayed. So Pi Day this Friday. Oh, I like that. Pi Day on Friday has an epic lunar eclipse blood moon. Interesting. Thoughts on north-south nodes, Rahu and Ketu's dark celestial bodies. Well, I definitely agree that the eclipses are caused by Rahu and Ketu. I love to look into the mythology and like see what the ancients said and how they kind of described these great stories. They basically describe this demon that weaseled their way into a group where the gods were getting ready to drink this like elixir that would give them eternal life, essentially. And the demon was able to drink it, but then the sun and moon found out that he was an imposter and basically decapitated him. And now his head and his body are these celestial celestial bodies, beings, right? That essentially are trying to devour the sun and moon. So it's really cool to put all these things into perspective. As far as like flat earth model goes, I don't subscribe to any map and model. I know that's a problem for a lot of people, because it's easier to just stick with the globe where you have all of the answers. There's nothing to question. But yeah, until we can travel a lot more freely, I don't see myself clinging to any model or any of that. So I don't claim to know how everything in the sky works. I just know for sure that the earth is flat and that we're in this enclosed realm that was created by God, who loves us and ultimately wants, to look down on his creation and be proud of what he's made and see us thriving. Like he's a good creator. He's a good parent. He wants what's best for us. And this isn't it, but he allows free will because ultimately the mother is seeking wisdom. There's a bigger story going on. It's not, him just, okay, go ahead in that world and you can only ever do what I say that you can do, right? That people complain about having free will. They would complain about not having free will. What is the guy supposed to do? Um, but yeah, ultimately it's the mother that's seeking wisdom and he is doing this for her. So if you want to blame anyone, blame her, but ultimately blame yourself and we need to blame ourselves for the situation that we're in because we've created it ultimately. And we're the ones that can get out of it. So that's cool. Sean says, I think it's a giant psyop and experiment for them to learn how to react when they change history. Yeah, well, that too. They're constantly changing things, and it's really easy for them, even just with a few generations, to change so much about everything, about how we do math, right? The Common Core math, just the different ways that all the new generations have always had new words and different lingo, and it's just getting more separated between the generations as things go on deliberately. So Mark Sargent says, I always knew it as the Mandela effect. See what I did there? Oh, Mandelta. Oh, okay. Nice. I didn't see that close enough. Nice one. So it says, hi, Anana. How are you? I am doing good. How about yourself? Critical Mass Awakening says, responding to Mike the Mechanic. Good catch. You are correct. Is called Serving the People. J.D. Vance as well as Zelensky are actors. And Trump was in multiple movies. The cameos, like the wrestling nonsense, like there's just a lot of they're all of them, no matter what side. Even Biden was just pretending to be dumb and then would go off stage and laugh at the people who actually thought that they were stupid, right? But they played a role so that essentially people would beg for Trump back. But that's another topic for another day. Donnie Dark Course says, still playing chess. I do occasionally, but not as much as I should. I need to get back into all of that because it is important. And this reality is based off of the game of chess. So, yeah. Hey, Shaggy, how's it going? Howdy, y'all. So it says, if you think the earth is flat, how do you not subscribe to the flat earth model? Well, there's multiple models anyways. Obviously, like when you first wake up, the AE model where the sun is spinning in circles, that's kind of the default model that most people go to. But there's also the map and model that's based off of the Book of Enoch, and how it's a square Earth, and it talks about how the sun and moon enter and exit our world through portals. And so there's multiple flat Earth models. There's other people that are working in different groups to track the sun and the moon to try to like put together a map based on, oh, this person is here seeing the sun at this degree, we're seeing it over here at this degree. Okay, well then where are the land plots, or where are these two places in reference to each other? So there's a lot of stuff that is going on in general, but until we can travel again, to the ends of the earth, right? How we have to trust other people, and I just don't do that. So yeah. Shaggy says Reagan was an actor too, and he did pretty well. I don't think I've seen anything that they actually acted in, but yeah, I'm sure that they're like, I don't know, there's probably a lot more acting gigs in these people's history than whatever. The Israelite says scientists are worrying the house in LA is filled with gas, synthesis gas. I'm not sure what house in LA you're talking about or what you are meaning. I'll have to look into that. But are you saying multiple houses? Because that'd be really interesting if they're, There's future world maps. Well, I'm specifically talking about the one in the USA that I posted on my community page here and on Facebook. A map that was leaked by the US Navy that basically has this giant mass of water kind of in the middle right side of the US. A lot of the California coast is like pretty much gone, and Mount Shasta has like beachfront properties now. New York, the side over there is just flooded in water. So when you're talking about if they're basically, they might be, I'm not saying they are, I'm just saying what came into my mind is they can go around and be like, oh, hey guys, your houses are filled. They're naturally kind of trying to push people out of the area, and then they can come in with the devastation. And it kind of would help alleviate some of their karma if they're doing this. Like with the wildfires, when they're doing the evacuation orders and trying to push people out, it's not like they're trying to kill people, or they would just set the stuff on fire when everyone's sleeping and they can't get out, right? So yeah, it's kind of a controlled migration of people, and they've been trying to get people out of California for a lot of years now in general, with the cost of living, the housing situation, the joblessness, everything, going worse, really getting worse. And then if you want to like build your own house, you have to have a multiple $1,000 sprinkler system and all these other, like, they're trying to push for more green living, solar, all this other stuff that they want to make mandatory to even live here. It's going to drive humans away. Why would you want to even live in this communistic society? And there's a lot of people that have left California because of it. If you take into consideration what I've said about Mount Shasta and how important Mount Shasta is, it makes sense why they try to drive real humans away from this space, so that the only ones that are left are, the rich that can afford. And usually they're not the ones that are here focused on purifying the place. So drive all the real humans out, then you just have a very controlled situation, and then the route just becomes darker and darker and darker. And that's checkmate. The Israelite says Gibson flat earth map. I know you mean the one that says as it is with the little Gleason. Is that what it is? At the top. Yeah. All of the maps, yeah, it's just hard to trust because you have to trust who made them. And it's cool to see like older maps that have, like at the North Pole, these land masses and stuff. It was channeled to me a few years back that if I could ever go to the North Pole and actually film what was there, like live stream there, that it would break the globe delusion like immediately from whatever is there. So that'd be really, really cool. I'm not sure how good, this satellite will be able to give my phone reception when we're there, Uh, I'm just joking, because with all the satellites that they say is up in space, we should just always have phone service, and it's just, yeah, doesn't make sense. Um, Hey David, how's it going? Hi from Klamath Falls. How's it going up there? Hopefully the weather is turning for the warmer. I actually haven't been to Klamath Falls, the actual falls, which would be really cool. But I have been to the area once before, and I had a good time. So the Israelite says the Babylonians are fiery chemistry, pharmakia, sorcery, fossil fuel burning abomination to all the earth, nature's inhabitants. That's a lot of descriptive words. But yeah, I get what you mean. The powers that be are definitely using pharmakia, sorcery against us. And we shouldn't be burning fossil fuels, which is actually the mother's blood, oil, right? They created this fossil fuel story to create scarcity, to be able to charge us for something that basically is pretty much unlimited resource. But at the same time, she can only regenerate herself so quick. And if you're constantly just sucking blood out like a vampire, you're going to cause problems. She might start shaking to try to get you off, right? Like earthquakes, all sorts of other disasters that could happen because we're misusing her, when we have access to unlimited free technology all around us that we don't even need that stuff. TomTom says somatic shows it octave shifts of the realm causes resets. I'm not sure what somatics you're talking about, but what they can do with frequency is really amazing. Even with the mud stuff, if you have the right frequency, you can literally just turn the Earth's solid foundation into mud. So yeah, that's just one of the many things that they can do. Mike the Mechanic says, if all the satellites were there, like they said, we would be able to zoom in on them with our phones, since the moon is supposedly further and we can zoom in on that. Yeah. And how often have you been outside staring at the moon all night on a full moon, and you never even see like one satellite go past or anything? It's just, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Critical Mass Awakening says, a small world, what are the odds? Did we recently play a game? I'm not sure what you're referencing to in that. Shaggy says, but the moon is huge compared to the size of a satellite, according to them. Yeah, but there's also a lot of like zoomed in footage too. So it's just the statistics don't make sense of like, we should have seen at least one. Why haven't we seen like the stars move since the beginning of recorded history, right? But we're supposedly spinning and wobbling and all of this random chance, and not even one star. Like, come on. Mike says, a general was quoted, a knowledgeable general that was quoted saying that crude oil is the second most abundant liquid on the plane. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense because it's the mother's blood. The Israelite says, DeepSeek AI agrees with me on the Babylonians. They're fire. Hey, I don't say that you're wrong. It was just funny that the way that you said it. And I know that English isn't like your first language. So it's good. You're good. The Israelite says, it spoke about in the book of Daniel that are removed from all the earth and heavens in the book of Daniel. Okay. Well, I definitely agree that the meek inherit the earth, and that, there's a time at the end of the story. Well, I guess I should preface it by saying that anything can happen. If there was a guaranteed ending, I don't think that's what the mother wants. I think that the mother wants wisdom, and that means sometimes it's a happy ending and sometimes it's not. And that's part of life. But the fun thing is that we can try our best to make that happen, and that there's a chance for it. So The way that I would end the story is that, all of this enlightenment happens and humanity starts to rise, and we just create this worldwide golden age. And for a whole, a short period of time, a long period of time, 1,000 years, whatever, we just get to have an awesome ending to the story where we're all at peace. We learned the lessons. Now we're just frolicking around and playing and having a good time, enjoying the earth as God intended. So that's how I would end it. Hopefully you guys are on board with that, because we get to write the ending. So David says Shasta looks like a ghost this morning. Let's see. I would take you with me, but oh, she is really pretty. Every time I try to bring the camera to the windows, it always ends up not working. So not going to try that. Shaggy says that certainly makes sense. Few things exist naturally as liquids at room temperature. So what says Israel sounds like his first language is a decalcified pineal gland. Yeah, I appreciate it. It's just kind of, it was just funny the way that, like, there's just so many descriptive words, but yeah, it's cool. Mike the Mechanic says the thing is the same camera. Let's say the P900, which is famous among flat earthers. I have one myself. I cried when it was gifted to me. It was like, it was awesome. You can zoom in on the moon, which is supposedly 238,000 miles away, but you can't go much further than 10 miles on land with the same clarity. Yeah, the numbers really don't add up. Obviously, when you're looking like straight ahead, there's going to be other factors. You're going to run into any of the environmental factors, whether it's pollution or other stuff in the air. So there is a difference, like looking straight up, that there's less of a chance for those things. But even still, it just doesn't add up. And I love my Nikon P900. If you guys ever get a chance to go out with a real camera and zoom in on the stars and see how cool they are, the way that they they're like light beings, and some of them shape shift. They're like not a constant thing. Others are circular and have like this, when you look up and see like almost water patterns going over it. Well, it's not almost water, it is water. The water's above. Okay. Tom says a worldwide festival, free hugs for life. We see the same. Awesome. Free hugs for life. Well, we'll see. I'm a little bit selective about my hugging, because can't just give everybody hugs, Just kidding. Well, not really. The Israelite says, Ark of the Covenant of the children will inherit the earth with endless numbers to build moon hives that will never end. What's a moon hive? That sounds interesting. But there's going to be a lot of changes on how we do things in general. So it'll be really exciting to see what the earth looks like when it's something that our creator can be proud of, something that we can be proud of. I don't know about you, but this mess that's going on, like, I know that I did contribute to it when I was asleep. I ate animals. I fueled the system. But I'm not proud at all of this mess. And I feel obligated and responsible to do what I can to fix the mess that I've helped create, and also to use my existence to make this world a better place. So yeah. Tom says he got a Nikon P900. Cool. Shaggy says you just need to remember that the moon is supposedly 1/3 the width of Earth, which is pretty damn big. Yeah. The numbers are enormous too. It's like, just get so many people to check out because you have these enormous numbers. Oh, leave it to the scientists, leave us, the mathematicians, to think, just accept it. You're never going to get to go to space. You're going to have to just take our word for it. It's like, no, I think I won't do that. So I'm glad for, this community of people that we get to share the truth and connect with people that know the truth and are interested in it, right? It's like, why does it matter? Well, why does the truth matter? For a lot of reasons. Including knowing where we are and what our stand. Meaningless pond scum that just happen to crawl out of the pond and evolve into humans. Sorry if I'm glitching a little bit. I'll probably get off of here relatively soon because I know that the internet's kind of glitching. Okay. You're not a meaningless evolved piece of slime on a chance Big Bang ball. You're not an evolved space monkey. Okay. You are a divinely created being. You are loved and cared for. We're in the safe realm. Like, I think it's just so cool that God made this little snow globe for us because he loves us. We're not just willy-nilly flying through space with a chance that some asteroid might come and kill us at any chance. It's a very loved position, and yeah, we matter. So, hey, Quentin, how's it going? Quentin says, Christ is king. Give praise. Yeah, interesting. What just popped into my mind was actually that the Old Testament says multiple times that David will be the returning king. So there's just actually a lot to go along with the idea of Christ kind of being kidnapped, and not kidnapped literally, but his teachings, who he is, being taken and turned into a completely different religion that he wouldn't have agreed to. He didn't promote himself. This basically turning him into this, put him on a pedestal. He's way above us, which obviously that's not to not respect him. Obviously, Christ is my absolute hero, but he also never elevated himself above other people. He said, you're my brothers and sisters. Everything that I did, you can do that and even greater. So he was constantly, building people up and telling them their divinity as well, not put me on a pedestal and worship me. I'm here to die for your sins and all that. So, David says, gotta go. Bye. Hope you stop by later. Have a good week. Tom said, I was just meeting everyone with the hugs part. Yeah. Well, spread the love, right? Mike the Mechanic says their excuse for refraction to me simply does not make up for over 200,000 miles. Yeah, it doesn't. So what says, who asked why does the truth matter? A lot of people actually have. When I first woke up to flat earth, I was with a guy and he basically said, why does it matter? While, being heavily invested in watching famous sports. It's just like, what? So you're going to sit here and tell me that LeBron James statistics matter, but the actual shape of the world that we're living in and like the truth of our reality doesn't matter? Like that's just really dumb. Needless to say, I'm not in that relationship anymore. Yeah. But even other people I've heard recently, why does it matter? For some people, it doesn't change as much as others. I have a friend that was a devout atheist before they found out about flat earth. And now they're, a goddess worshiping flat earther who is into all the true stuff. Some people don't want to wake up because they've spent time in the teaching industry and science industry, becoming doctors. And so they are very heavily invested in the lie. So obviously for them, they're going to say, what does it matter? But it does. It does indeed matter. And I would not want to be teaching children lies, like teaching them that they were evolved pond scum on a giant spinning ball, because that's evil. Mark Sargent says that this world was created for you. You are here for a reason. It is love and purpose. Exactly. I like that. It's nice. Critical Mass Awakening says, Donnie Dark Core. I just subscribed to your channel. Oh, you guys are having a conversation. Okay. I am getting ready to get off of here. My internet keeps becoming a little bit foggy, but I appreciate being with you guys. And hopefully next week, David D will be here so I can read his thing about the Mandela effect and we can talk about that a little bit more. But until next time, I hope that you guys have a really great week. If there's any topics that you ever want me to talk about, you can feel free to leave them in the live chat like normal, read them, or just leave a comment on my YouTube page, or find me on Facebook. So until next week, hope you have a wonderful week. May God and the Goddess bless you.